1900–1950, leather panel balls, World Cup balls, and early innovations. Introduction to the early 20th century. By the early 1900s, football had already become a global sport. From the streets of London to the fields of South America, young men and children kicked balls that were now more standardized than ever before. However, while the rules of the game were spreading, the quality of the ball itself was still evolving. The leather football of this period was an object of craftsmanship, but it also came with serious problems, especially in harsh weather. The story of the football in the first half of the 20th century is a tale of experimentation, craftsmanship, and the birth of iconic moments in World Cup history. Leather panel construction, the classic 18-panel design. One of the most significant developments in this era was the 18-panel leather ball. Most footballs in the 1900s were made of a rubber bladder for bounce and shape, 18 hand-stitched leather panels covering the bladder, laces that sealed the ball together. This design gave the ball its spherical structure, though the laces sometimes created an uneven surface. Players often complained that heading the ball where the lace was located felt painful. Still, compared to earlier versions, these balls were far more durable and reliable. Problems with early 20th century balls. Despite improvements, the leather footballs of this era had well-known issues. 1. Water absorption. The biggest weakness was water. In rainy matches, the ball absorbed moisture and grew heavier with every pass. A dry ball that weighed 450 grams could turn into a nearly 1 kilogram missile during a storm. Heading such a ball could lead to concussions, nosebleeds, or even long-term health problems. 2. Laces. The traditional lace, often made of thick leather, stuck out from the surface of the ball. A mistimed header on the lace could cut a player's forehead or leave bruises. Some companies experimented with cotton laces, but they absorbed even more water. 3. Unpredictable bounce. Since stitching and craftsmanship varied, no two balls behaved exactly alike. Teams playing with a new ball often had to adjust their passing, shooting, and dribbling style. The first World Cups and their match balls. The 1930s marked the beginning of the FIFA World Cup, and with it, the ball took on new global importance. Each World Cup ball tells its own story. The 1930 World Cup, Uruguay. The first FIFA World Cup in Uruguay 1930 had an unusual controversy. Argentina and Uruguay, the two finalists, could not agree on which ball to use. Argentina preferred their lighter, smaller ball, while Uruguay preferred a heavier, tougher one. First half, played with Argentina's ball, Tiento. Argentina led 2-1. Second half, played with Uruguay's ball, T-Model. Uruguay came back strong and won 4-2. This match highlighted how much difference the ball could make. The 1934 World Cup, Italy. The official ball was the Federale 102, a hand-stitched 18-panel leather ball. It had laces and was slightly improved in construction, but the water absorption problem remained. The 1938 World Cup, France. The ball used was the Allen, another 18-panel design with hidden laces to improve heading comfort. This was one of the first attempts to hide the lace system, giving the ball a smoother surface. War and the Pause of Football 1939–1945. During World War II, football competitions were disrupted worldwide. However, the design of the football continued to improve in the background. Manufacturers began experimenting with better tanning methods for leather to reduce water absorption. Rubber industries also advanced because of wartime needs, which later benefited ball production. The 1950 World Cup. Brazil. After the war, the 1950 FIFA World Cup in Brazil marked a revolution in football ball design. The official match ball was the Superball Duplo T, produced in Brazil. Key innovation: it was the first World Cup ball without external laces. Instead, it had an internal valve system, similar to modern footballs. This gave the ball a rounder shape and removed the painful lace problem. Impact: the Duplo T was much smoother, and players could head the ball more safely. It was also more predictable in flight. This change represented a huge step forward. The lace, which had been part of footballs for centuries, was finally disappearing. Football in everyday life, street and local balls. While World Cups had official match balls, ordinary players still used cheaper versions. In working-class neighborhoods of England, Brazil, and Argentina, boys often played with homemade balls. Sometimes they stuffed rags into old socks to make a ball, or used plastic alternatives when they couldn't afford leather. This highlights an important truth. While professional football demanded perfect balls, for ordinary people, anything that could roll or bounce was enough to create joy. Technical evolution between 1900 and 1950. By mid-century, the ball had evolved significantly from the 19th century version. Material. Better quality cowhide leather was used. Panels. 18-panel design became standard. Laces. Transition from external laces to hidden or eliminated laces. Shape. Rounder and more consistent. Durability. Improved but still not waterproof. Despite these improvements, the ball was still far from perfect. Players still dreaded rainy days when the ball turned into a heavy weapon rather than a light, playful object. Iconic moments of this era. Ball in action. 1930 final, Argentina vs Uruguay, proved how ball differences could change the outcome of a game. 1950, Maracanazo, Brazil vs Uruguay. Uruguay shocked the world by beating Brazil 2-1 in the Maracana Stadium, witnessed by nearly 200,000 fans. The Duplo T ball became forever linked with this historic upset. Transition to modernity. By the 1950s, the foundations for the modern football were firmly in place. The move away from laces, the push for spherical consistency, and the search for waterproofing all set the stage for the next great leap, the synthetic revolution of the 1960s and 70s.